Welcome everyone to the 17th episode of Popular Polls, your weekly show on Sundays where once a week I shut up and listen to your answers. Well, you still hear me talking, but you get the idea, right? Okay. So if I look a little bit rougher than I usually do, please excuse. I've literally just gotten back from a weekend trip, went to a Model 3 meetup in Fulda, Germany. Video obviously coming in German though. I gotta say, I've never seen so many Model 3s in one spot in person. I saw some pictures, but seeing them all in person, this is legit insane. I love it. And yeah, as I said, I just got home, plugged in the Model 3, and walked straight up here to record the video. So, let's get into last week's answers. I asked you about the carbon tax, and a broad majority of you is in favor of a carbon tax. Of the 10 people participating, thanks to all of you, by the way, I love it to get some people engaged in the show and get your answers to read out on Sunday. 8 of you said yes. This is great. I love to see this. I hope we can all influence other people, but also, like, especially politicians and policymakers, to wrap their heads around how much potential this can have. And speaking of potential, I asked you to provide some clarification in the comments why you choose either option. Unfortunately, the 2 people who said no to are they in favor of a carbon tax didn't leave a comment, but we do have 2 comments, one from Garrett and the other one from Donald. So Garrett says, would be a good move, but calculation CO2 emissions should be taxed worldwide. However, we have to start somewhere. Completely agree, Garrett. And Donald says, I chose yes because I'm in agreement that carbon should be taxed. Use the power of taxation to change society toward a better future. Wow, that's powerful, Donald. Love it. And actually, this is, I'm not sure where I got this from. I'm surely paraphrasing here, but this is part of what a government is for. A government is mainly there for making sure that everyone in a set place, for example in Germany here or in the US or somewhere else, can live their lives how they kind of want it in a set parameter set, so we don't go around killing people or so. And I think taxation is toward if you do it on carbon, is toward the greater good of preserving a lot of people dying or getting sick from pollution and inevitably causing more harm and more loss in terms of money toward the entire society. See, that's why we elect, hopefully, smart people, usually, to make some decisions for us and keep us away from danger, especially the broader majority, who may just not be aware or educated about how much carbon can really hurt the entire environment, including us people living in it, and other, bad gases and stuff coming out of, for example, exhausts. Anyway, so this is all great, and as Elon said, and this is what I just want to emphasize here again, we're currently running, I'm kind of paraphrasing again, we're currently running the world's most stupid experiment with releasing so much CO2 into the atmosphere. We're kind of running this experiment. Some people say, like, well, maybe it's all not man-made and maybe it's not bad. Yeah, but what if it is? What if we make our whole planet can we break it all? So this experiment is stupid because there are options, and we are working on them all together here, right? There are options to do something better than just releasing a lot of CO2 and burning stuff, fossil fuels. Anyway, brabbling along here, let's get into this week's question. And interestingly, I've seen and heard more about other modes of transport getting to hit up the EV craze. For example, I saw this sun-powered catamaran, and kind of wind-powered, and I think it was a fuel cell in the first place, but anyway, it was mostly sun-powered and had definitely something to do with electricity in Hamburg. And I heard more news about electric planes this week on the EV News Daily podcast from Martin that I listened to. So my question to you is, what's the next big transportation mode which will be electrified? To answer, click on the pop-up card which will pop up in the top right-hand corner of your video right now. And here are your choices. Since we really only have two modes left, right, air and water, basically, I've split them up a bit. Rail is already being electrified mostly, you know, with the maglev trains or even just some regular trains, and road transit is obviously going mostly electric. You may disagree, and if you do so, please leave a comment down in the comment section below. But again, this question is mostly about which is the next big mode of transport that's going electric. So your first choice is ferries. And I know there's at least one of them already, and maybe they make a lot of sense, right? Because ferries have a set route, they have ports where they can charge, and they stay a little bit of time. So yeah, maybe a good idea. Second one, cargo ships. Not too sure about those. I'm usually against hydrogen in any modes of transportation, but I think here's where the hydrogen kind of mode or energy storage form might really make sense. Then we have cruise ships, kind of similar, but maybe a little bit different, because cruise ships are mostly pleasant ships and vehicles, and they usually go into a lot of harbors. So maybe we have supercapacitors that will be able to charge super quick, and they can go to cruise ships. I don't know. Maybe they do. And there's a lot of engine room already in there, and a lot of, you know, fuel that's being taken on board, which can be maybe used for battery storage. Anyway, fourth one, small propeller airplanes, kind of like the ones that I used in flight school sometimes. And I've heard that there are a couple of flight schools already going electric just because it's so much cheaper to run and operate. And lastly, the fifth option, large aircrafts, maybe like a Boeing 747. You know, this is a big plane, or an Airbus A380, but those are discontinued. Anyway, maybe because a lot of people, you know, use them, and there's so much money to be saved from not having those fuel costs. I learned that fuel is the single most expensive thing on flights anywhere, and also obviously destroying the environment the most. Not saying people who use airplanes are bad. I am one of them. Just saying that we maybe should optimize towards getting airplanes to, I don't know, solar powered. Not sure solar, but electric powered anyway. Anyway, as always, if your answer of choice is not in the 5 ones that I listed here, leave a comment down in the comment section below. I am looking super forward to hearing from all of you. And make sure to subscribe to stay updated, because there's lots of videos that I have planned that are upcoming, and obviously the next popular polls on next Sunday. That's it. I'll see you in the next video.